In the past, whenever a communal clash happened in India, the immediate response of authorities and the media was to hide the identity of assailants if they happen to be from radical Islamist groups or terrorist groups, and even the identity of victims if they happen to be Hindus. On the other hand, if the victims happen to be Muslims, then the blame would be put on RSS and the BJP, and the names of victims would be published. There was a logic in that because, as a journalist who covered a few communal clashes, I had asked a few people. Then their response was, because India is a Hindu majority country, and if you reveal the truth that Hindus are being attacked and killed by radical Islamists, then Hindu communalism will grow, and so you need not report truth as it is. So that was the logic. But I used to differ from them. I used to register my protest. You know, then things were done in a lopsided way many times. Whenever communal riots, even attacks happened, the reality, the narratives will be false and artificial. Then again, the logic was you should not create a divide in the society. So everybody used to swallow such logic hook, line, and sinker. Nobody used to question the logic. Actually, that helped assailants because if you go to a court and if you are not able to prove the motive of a crime, that will only help the assailant. Unless you prove the motive behind the crime, you cannot nail the assailant. He will be set free. Actually, that helped assailants. I doubt if that strategy was part of an effort to help assailants. But fortunately, this time, when Pahalgam Terrorist Attack happened, even mainstream media in India that used to support extremist groups in the past showed the courage to report the motive behind the crime and call the spade a spade. I find that mainstream English media like the Hindu or News 18, all of them reported that the assailants checked the identity of victims, and if they were found Hindus, they were mercilessly shot dead. So let's check into the reality in an impartial and a fair manner. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. Let's start with some of the reports that appeared in the mainstream media this time. The Hindu reported that Paras Jain, a resident of Maharashtra, was asked by terrorists if he was a Hindu. He said yes, he was a Hindu, and he was shot dead. Then another person, his name was Vikas, Nathaniel. Sorry, Sushil Nathaniel. He was from Indore in Madhya Pradesh. He was asked by terrorists to recite a Quranic verse Kalima. He said he was a Christian and he didn't know Kalima. Again, he was also shot dead. Then another victim, a techie named Bharat Bhushan from Bengaluru, was asked if he was a Muslim. He said he was a Hindu. He was also shot dead. So these reports, those reports appeared in the mainstream media in India. So this actually surprises me because the mainstream media showed the courage to call spade a spade. Instead of going for false narratives, they reported the reality. And I think this is going to help authorities to justify future action against terrorists and to establish the motive of the crime. As I said earlier, when a crime is registered by the police and the case goes to the court, the motive behind the crime has to be proved. Unless the motive is proved, the, the assailant will escape punishment. And actually hiding the identity of the assailant will help him or her to create false narratives. In India, in the past, that had happened. I would cite an example. When the Malabar riots of 1921 happened, it was actually a Hindu pogrom. It is called Mopla riots. Then, the real motive behind that was religion. No Muslim was killed. I mean, by mistake, some rare incidents might have happened. But among the thousands, not even hundreds, thousands who were killed, not even hundreds were Muslims. All of them were Hindus. So it was clearly a Hindu pogrom. It was a Hindu genocide. But historians in Kerala, especially left historians, portrayed it as an agrarian revolt. The strategy of victim shaming was used. The victims were made responsible for the attack. Those historians portrayed that the victims were landlords and they used to exploit tenants who were Muslims. And the Muslims became restless and naturally they revolted. And in that revolt, Hindu landlords were killed. So many facts of many aspects of truth were hidden by that narrative. It was actually hiding the real motive that helped the assailants to escape. This happens at many places. If you hide the real narrative in the name of preserving or protecting the communal harmony at all costs, then actually you are helping the assailant. And you give the assailant a chance to escape, to get away with his crime. And actually this will set an example also. In future also, many people will be tempted to follow this because they know very well that they can hide their motive and they can escape. And this has been a pattern that happened in India. But for the first time, while reporting Pahalgam terrorist attack, media showed the courage to call spade a spade. Earlier, the same media had covered up crimes, covered up the real reasons. So I think that was actually a strategy drafted by certain groups of people with the help of politicians to save their groups and to perpetrate further crimes and to eventually, you know, gain their goals, achieve their goals. In the past, there was a tendency to cite an idea named Kashmiriyat. Kashmiriyat means there is a brotherhood in Kashmir, irrespective of religion, and Kashmiris were angered or peeved at the government of India not respecting certain agreements made earlier. So they were all justifications for terrorism. But by late 2000, after 2015, the international terror groups that came up, that started their, frontal organizations in Kashmir, like, the Islamic State, they were not willing to hide. So actually, it was the Islamic terror groups themselves who removed the veil of secrecy because they had other motives. They wanted to establish a Shariat-based law all over the world, and they want to tell the world that the struggle in Kashmir was part of a global struggle. So it was the Islamic State and Al Qaeda that dismissed the logic of Indian terror groups and their supporters who are secular supporters in India. So from that onwards, they showed their real face. So their strategy was different from the traditional strategy followed by radical Islamist groups in Kashmir. So it actually might have changed the narratives. That was also one of the reasons. Anyway, I think since the media is now showing courage to call spade a spade, and the new narratives are sticking to the truth, I think that will go a long way in ending terrorism in Kashmir. We need to first name and shame the assailant. We need to name and shame the terror groups. We need to expose their real motive. Then only we can, I think, we can implement justice. Fortunately, I think this time it happened, and this will go a long way in nailing terrorism in Kashmir. Meet you with updates in the coming days. Till then, goodbye.